The ANC's National Policy Conference gets underway on Friday, scheduled to sit until Sunday afternoon. The conference, which in a way is a precursor to the National Elective Conference, is where the party sets out direction and policies it hopes to live and govern by for the next 5 years. Some of the policy proposals to be discussed this weekend will only be adopted at the Elective Conference in December. Newzroom Afrika's Andersen takes a closer look at the history of this gathering.
Despite its significance, the ANC's Policy Conference normally flies under the radar when compared to the party's National Elective Conference. But while no leadership is elected, it's the conference where the ANC anchors its roots. It's here where its policy proposals are ventilated and debated. If adopted at its sister conference later in the year, this weekend's discussions will have a major impact on how the ANC will govern if it retains power in the 2024 national elections. Let's take a look at some of the proposals to come out of the last policy conference in 2017. After lengthy and rigorous debate, the ANC resolved that the South African Reserve Bank should be nationalized. This was eventually adopted at the National Elective Conference in December of 2017. The other contentious matter was the decision to amend the country's constitution to allow for land expropriation without compensation. The ANC step-aside rule is a current bone of much contention and debate within the party. It was adopted by its National Executive Committee after it was initially approved at the Elective Conference 5 years ago. The regulation requires all ANC members facing criminal charges to step aside from any and all positions and party-related activity until they've cleared their names. This week's policy conference, however, is set to reopen debate on all three of those hotbed policies. The Radical Economic Transformation faction has already been quite vocal about its frustrations over the lack of progress in implementing land expropriation, as well as nationalizing the Reserve Bank. Party President Cyril Ramaphosa is expected to bear the brunt of their frustration. While the step-aside rule is set to come under considerable pressure from disgruntled members, some in the party, including the newly elected ANC KZN chairperson Siboniso Duma and Limpopo ANC chair Stan Matabata, have already called for the controversial rule to be scrapped entirely. Some currently on the sidelines due to the step-aside rule are set to run for positions at the Elective Conference. But not all ideas put forward at the policy conference get adopted. At the 2017 conference, then President Jacob Zuma proposed that the party consider 2 deputy presidents in a bid to counter factional battles. That proposal was quickly shut down. Former President Thabo Mbeki added fuel to the fire recently as the ANC gears up for this weekend's policy conference. Speaking at the memorial service for former Deputy Secretary General Jesse Duarte last week, Mbeki tore into his party for its lack of national policy or plan to address the basic needs of South Africans on the ground.
In terms of our commitment to serve the people, we have to address those issues. But the fact of the matter, comrades, is that as I'm standing here, as we're sitting, all of us here, we do not have an agreed national plan to address these challenges. We don't have it. There is no national plan to address these challenges of poverty, unemployment, inequality. It doesn't exist.
So how will the ANC react to Mbeki's criticism? Will it put aside all factional battles and put forward proposals to unite and build on the country's democratic gains? Or will it insist on closing ranks and responding to the perceived ideological attacks it's allegedly come under from unknown enemies using all forms of media? All will be revealed this weekend. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Andersen in Johannesburg.